Why don't I do the intro all over again then?
That's okay.
I
It was an
wanted
excellent
to
intro,
stop you
though.
before you got too far into the show.
Well, hey.
Man,
So,
we could have kept going.
well, welcome to Linux Saloon, a place to discuss tech, open source, and Linux is always on tap. Each show, we talk about Linux and things. How is everybody?
Good.
Excellent.
Right.
So, really weird here. So, it's in excellent condition. Everything was good. But, and I have it set to auto start when it streams, but that didn't actually kick off this time. So now it's going. Thank you, Jason. You are a
You're
lifesaver. I don't know how long I would have been rattling my jaw here to nobody. So because it was
I've
actually
done
showing.
that before.
Yeah, I've done. This is not the first time I've done that, but like it was actually set. I could even see it. It said auto start, but it didn't auto start. So I don't know.
Well, I was keeping an eye on it, Nate, but I thought because I'm in the future, maybe we'd finished already, so I didn't say anything.
So you're right. Well, I'm. Be sure to do the straw poll if you have not done so. Throw in your vote on how Bliss OS was for you. I personally enjoyed it. Doesn't mean you have to or say you had to, but I thought it was good. So on the docket for today, we're going to discuss that straw poll, talk a little bit about Bliss OS, and then we'll do get some community discussion here that Ulfnick is going to bring up, and then also a community free pour from Ben with Storm OS, and then our last call. But first, what have you been doing in Linux and tech? Jinda, you started talking about playing with a talking about MX Linux on a Raspberry Pi, and I got all excited. I even grabbed a prop here because I like such things. And so, what is this that you've been doing with the Raspberry Pi?
Oh, I just decided to try the newest and latest, greatest MX Linux version for the Raspberry Pi. I wanted to compare it to the newest and greatest Raspberry Pi OS because they are actually running like Wayland and stuff like that. I wanted to see how it compared. Yeah, the new Raspberry Pi is running. They're running Wayland or some kind of version of Wayland or something.
Yeah, they are.
They are running Pipewire too, which I can't see why anybody at this point would not be. And I mean, they've been trying to do Wayland for 15 years now, and finally got somewhere. But Pipewire, I don't think took that long. And it seems to be a drastic improvement.
Yep, I think the coupling Pipewire with Wayland is kind of like the frosting to the cake, as it were, because that allows you to move. You can do some really cool things with Pipewire and sharing screens and windows and all this stuff, like with web conferencing and so forth. So yeah, it's pretty great. And actually, you're right. When I was setting up some Raspberry Pis for work, I did notice that my XDo tools, my automated tools, didn't work on initially on the Raspberry Pi. Then there's a setting there, very easy to change it to be on Xlemon instead. So yeah. But so how's it going? Now you're comparing the MX Linux to the current offerings of the Raspberry Pi OS?
Yeah, exactly. And I decided to try it out. I tried to get ZRAM to work, which I know is already installed in MX Linux. And ZRAM puts a small partition for swap on your in your RAM to make it faster. It does slow down CPU, but it seems to improve low-end computers. I know, like your cell phone would run ZRAM.
Okay.
And the Raspberry Pi should naturally, I would think, run it too. But unfortunately, it did not work. I typed in what I was supposed to type in, and it didn't work. So I was looking into trying to get that to work. And I guess somebody said that there's a different way to do it for the Raspberry Pi for MX Linux for that version, which I don't understand why there would be. But other than that, that was the only issue I had with it. It seemed to me personally a little quicker and snappier than the Wayland Raspberry Pi edition, but it also may be because I haven't done and installed all the junk that I want to, you know what I mean, to slow it down enough.
Right.
So right out of the box, I can't complain. So far, all the operating systems I ever tried, the only two that ever worked have been MX Linux and the Raspberry Pi OS. All the rest of them work kind of iffy. Yes, the Ubuntu one is good, and I'll give it credit for that. It's nice, but to me, it was a little too bloated for it.
So I have I've tried numerous different operating systems, and OpenSUSE Tumbleweed being one of them. Probably never would have guessed that, huh?
No, I never thought.
No, not in a million years. In fact, that's what's on this little SD card right here for my Raspberry Pi. But I had an issue with an update on Tumbleweed where actually the Pi would not boot, and they don't use Snapper and Rollback in the Tumbleweed version for the Raspberry Pi. So I was forced to reinstall, and I was very shocked by that.
Mine didn't reboot also. And the reason it didn't reboot is because the original Raspberry Pi OS had a section in it to upgrade how much RAM you were using for video. And when I copied stuff over, I copied that setting file over. And when I changed it, it wouldn't start anymore because I had it like 300 megs or something or whatever. And Whalen said no. So that was one of the issues I had with it. And the only reason I know that is just because of dumbass luck. I mean, it wasn't because of talent or knowing what was going on. It was just because I go, this is the only thing that could have done it. It was just a guess, and I got right.
Yeah,
because I noticed they changed that in the new version.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what happened on the OpenSUSE side. I did get on the forums and to talk to some people, but I had a project that had to be done, so I did end up using the Raspberry Pi OS to get the job done. And I mean, it ultimately ended up being fine, and you know, it's doing its job. I'm happy with it. No issues. I can replicate whatever I need to do with Tumbleweed if I have to, but it just didn't. It was actually my first in what year is it now? So in
2024.
Yeah, in the 7 years I've been using Tumbleweed as rolling distribution, this is the first time I had something catastrophic where I had to reinstall.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a Raspberry Pi, whatever. It's a hobby computer.
Right.
But I was going to show you. So I have a little Raspberry Pi thing going on here. This is actually a UPS for the Raspberry Pi. So you can. So if you lose power, you don't lose power, basically. It won't last very long, a few hours.
Right.
But long enough to keep things going for however long you need to keep it going. But it's just it just kind of screws onto, onto the thing. I just put it on the bottom there, and it's kind of like a little jumper here. It goes from the battery to, your power input, and then you can plug your USB-C power on this. It actually works really well. I mean, outside of you can't really manage the battery. But it does a job of a very generic UPS, and this is 400 milliamp hour.
Milliamps.
Yep, and it's pretty great. So if you need if you have a situation where you do need to have a little bit of cushion, I guess, with your Raspberry Pi, it's a great way to go. They're not very expensive. I think it was maybe $20 for that whole thing, and I probably could have gotten it cheaper if I'd have tried harder, But yeah, I think I'm going to look at playing with MX Linux on the Raspberry Pi. I think that might be one I look at, because you can pretty much count on MX to be a steady Eddie, very reliable, that reliable draft horse that you can get to pull the cart around. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, right. A draft horse. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to do the job.
Have a little mud around the hooves, from going through the plowing the fields and everything else. But yeah. Absolutely reliable, I think. So, that's actually really good. So I do appreciate you bringing that up, because I think MX has always been great. So, I don't know,
I'm surprised how good it is. I really am. Every time I use it, I'm always shocked at how good it is. I never expected them to be able to do a Raspberry Pi distro, but they did do a very good job on it. So far, I'm impressed.
Oh yeah, Eris, I grabbed that ahead of time when you brought it up. But yeah, so I actually have things around me ready to grab. So if I need to talk about, fixing something, I can, grab the drill and whatever else too. So it's all right here. It's just because I was just doing some other projects and I needed a drill for. That's why
so
it's
grab
right
random stuff off our desk.
Yeah. Or my new favorite ruler that I found on eBay. It's made of stainless steel. This has nothing to do with anything, and I don't know why I'm doing this, but it has imperial and the and metric on it. So when you have this is stainless, and so it's really you could probably you could probably hurt somebody
Real
with
strong.
this. It's actually kind of sharp on the corners. But I bought a 10, so 3 of these was like $7, or a 10-pack was like $10. I'm like, well, I'm gonna buy 10 of them. But like, you have to score something, because I have a PVC, one of those like cutting mats, that every YouTuber has that builds things. So it's great. I just have something right there when I have to score and cut something, and just it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So anyway, yeah, I have lots of props for Omni-Airs. This is true.
All the random stuff I can find on my desk. That's
Hey,
Be happy you can find stuff on your desk.
a 26-year-old graphing calculator that I still use, stuff like that.
Jindal, what desktop does MX Linux use on the Raspberry Pi?
I'm pretty sure I think it's Fluxbox. I would assume. I unfortunately wasn't paying that close attention to it. I was so involved with trying to be able to get the performance up, and trying to get ZRAM to work and update it. I wasn't paying attention to anything other than that, but I'm pretty sure it's running Fluxbox.
Yeah.
Most of their distros run Fluxbox, XFCE, and KDE, but they're light versions. If you want to run a lighter version, it's
Right.
Fluxbox.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I wish I could remember. I just did it. Yeah, I did it last night, and I never paid any attention to which desktop it was, because I run both of them so frequently. I never pay attention.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I have to check out for sure.
I think it's XFCE 4.18 is used as a default desktop environment.
Oh, okay. It's XFCE.
Eco.
There you go.
Is that for the ARM one or for the standard desktop? Standard desktop is.
The one I looked up is for the MX, the Raspberry Pi edition.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? And it's XFCE.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm shocked, because usually they run Fluxbox on the lower end one stuff. It runs a little. I would think Fluxbox would have less RAM, use less RAM.
Yeah, it's pretty lightweight, I must say.
Depends what you have running with it.
So I think
Probably.
this right here. Oops. I think this right here is the link to it.
Mhm.
So I'll put it here, and I'll put it here for the MX 23.1 Raspberry Pi. Is this what you used?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna download it now because I don't want to crash my internet.
Oh yeah, you do.
No, not tonight.
Half the fun.
It is half the fun. Well, very cool. Thank you very much, Jinda. It was good. It's informative for me, and I like hearing positive things about MX Linux for sure. All right. So, Eris, you did a straw poll on your experience, our collective experience with Bliss OS. How did that thing shake out?
Let me refresh one last time.
Ooh, I was afraid of that.
So the question is, how would you describe your experience with Bliss OS? With 42%, the number one answer was, did not have a good time with it. Well, it
It
changed.
just
right now,
shifted,
so
yeah, just shifted. It went down a little bit.
It went down to 38%. And then number two is, it is okay, 19%. And then followed by, did not have enough time, busy with work, busy with life, 19%. Tux Penguin comes next with 14%. Then 5%, it is good. 5% not interested in this exploration. Nobody picked not interested in doing any of the explorations in general. Nobody said other. And nobody said it is amazing. It was pure bliss. I did get one response. And the one response I got, let me see, is I'm very interested in this distro. Just the explosion happened when I was busy. But I'll do it later when I get some time.
Oh, good. That might have been a Tux Penguin, or maybe the other one. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting distribution. So I guess let's roll right into the distribution discussion. So as part of the exploration rules, the intent is to talk about the different aspects of the operating system and discuss the experience from using it. This is a discussion that by which should be objective, should be constructive, and any non-objective opinions like this is garbage is not really helpful. Rather, if you say, I wish it had this specific feature, or I really need a feature that allows me to fill in the blank, will benefit the conversation. The point is to highlight the positives, but not ignore the lowlights of the project, because remember, this is a labor of love for some, so let's not poo-poo all over it. So a little bit about Bliss OS. So in short, Bliss OS is not your standard fare Linux distribution. It is an Android-based open source operating system that incorporates many optimizations, features that supports many more devices. It's available for just about any Chromebook, PC, or tablet related released in the last 10 years. So they focus on the design, so they have a minimalized theme without any bloatware, unwanted adware apps. They built it for performance. They focus on speed and stability with tweaks to assist for more demanding cases. And they have customizable settings, so allows for screens to be big and small and allow you to vary the device that it's on. And it can take your PC to include all compatibility, so you can use all your favorite apps and so forth. So it's a desktop or tablet UI, and you can choose. And Bliss OS will choose between the desktop or tablet UI based on the launcher being used, so you can even have a mix of the two and make it your own system. So it's supposed to be very compatible with added features for compatibility, be it ARM64 app support on your PC, letting you use the games apps you know and love for hardware accelerated video decoding and watch your favorite streaming platform and so forth. So it's built on an immutable system, which is set up by default, and because that's all the rage right now. So it is open source, and there are a few different options for download. There you can have Bliss OS 14. They have Bliss OS 15, and then right now I think it's a beta right now. Bliss OS 16, and then a Bliss OS Zenith. I wasn't sure what the Zenith was. It's like based on Android 13 with the latest Linux stable kernel. So I guess it's a little bit older or something like that. I went with Bliss OS 15, and they have options for with G apps or just with free and open source apps. So G apps being Google apps, and then it sets up all your Google Play stuff and so forth. They also have a version for the Surface, which I thought was very interesting, and the Android Go. I'm not really sure what that was. I didn't look into that one since I didn't know what it was. Anyway, so I went with Bliss OS 15 with the G apps, and I had to actually use it on actual hardware. I had a little trouble with the virtual machine image myself. Who here gave it a spin? Took it around anybody? Jinda? Colin?
I didn't get a chance to.
Oh, and Eris? I'm guessing you did. So for my setup, I used my HP EliteBook. It worked really well. I was actually a little slow on the boot up. I wasn't sure if anybody experienced that. Did anybody experience a little slow on the boot up? If you got it to boot up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it didn't finish booting up. So
Yeah, I did have. Yeah.
I think I tried it on Vert Manager,
Mhm.
and it wouldn't load for me. Like it just didn't go anywhere. I think I did that. I don't know if I got to the boot screen, but maybe I tried the live session and that never worked. I used Vert Manager and VirtualBox. I did ended up trying just installing it with VirtualBox, so I did get that far. I don't know if we want to go into the installer or anything, but yeah.
I ran it as a live session on my compute my EliteBook, so it's a 10th generation Intel on there. I got it to boot on an older it's not Atom based, but it's an old Idea book, a Lenovo Idea book from like 2018. But I think it was too slow for it because it kept having issues where it warned you that something stopped working or was, how Android, if you have too much stuff on there, how like it says the UI has stopped responding. This has stopped responding. Well, I kept having those problems, so that's why I went to a different machine. I couldn't get it to boot on my old netbooks, but those are over 10 years old, so I don't blame them for that. But yeah, I set it up with a Google, did the Google setup thing, and everything actually worked really well. I did have one problem. Well, actually, before I get to that, Colin, did you have how was your experience with it?
Yeah, have a bit of a mixed emotion there. I put it on the Lenovo, so that was real hardware, and I booted into the live, which is what you do with most distros, and I was looking for install, so that confused me big time. So I rebooted and realized you had to select install on the grub screen, right? Then it got now. I went looked for some information, but I was getting a bit frustrated at that point and had things to do. But to me, it looked like it needed a Windows to install. So I don't know whether I was selecting the wrong one, but it was asking for a Windows platform.
Really?
So I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know what the deal is there. I downloaded, I think, the same one as you, 15.8 GApps. And I don't know. Maybe it was me. I didn't do any research. I was just doing my typical try it out and see how it goes. But it turned out to be not as, what can you say, not the same as not the same setup as your normal average Linux distro. So maybe I needed to look into that a bit more. I got as far as that. I got a bit frustrated with the desktop as well because it seemed like pure Android. So you said there was another option. Didn't get to that. So my experience wasn't the best, but I think it was probably my lack of knowledge in that case.
So, Dr. Linux, you were going to say something?
Right. I was saying that I agree with Colin, and I think I had the same experience as you do, Nate, with the slow boot up. But I must say I like their logo for Bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool logo.
The animation is kind of nice.
Upon booting in, it was really cool. Upon booting into the Bliss, I think I booted into the Android version. I overlooked the desktop version, so it was a little bit hard to navigate because it was on my hard drive Lenovo, right? I think it would have been more easier to maneuver if it was a tablet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was hard to maneuver. When I open up a tab, it was hard to get it closed. But I indeed figured it out, right? But I must say the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi connected easily for me, so that's a plus for me with that system.
That's great. So I actually had trouble with my Wi-Fi. It didn't detect the built-in the Intel
Same.
Wi-Fi, but
Same.
so I used a TP
Same.
Link USB module so I could get it to connect, and then I was good to go. What I did think interesting was, and I didn't try this out, but they have a Docker image you can run it from as well. I don't know why I'd want to do that, but I think that might be kind of fun. I don't know. I was just noodling that around. So, well, cool. Anybody else have any? Go ahead, Colin.
Nate, I just wanted to ask. It sounds like you had an installed running system, so you didn't have any of the issues that I did then, unless you selected something different at boot that I didn't realize.
So I went with the live because I couldn't. My test machine wouldn't take it, so I just went with the live run of it, and I just basically.
Oh, you just did the live.
Yeah,
right.
And so then I installed. I had I think it just used my RAM as like a storage essentially, because it had 64 gigabytes of storage, so which is how much RAM the thing has. And so I basically I installed a bunch of apps. You know, like there's a couple of things like I wanted to check out. So like my solar battery backup system here for the house. I wanted to basically install the Generac app just to see how that worked, and it actually was all right, but it like rotated my screen. I couldn't get it to rotate back initially, and so that was kind of frustrating. So like I was like looking at sideways, but like the touchpad orientation hasn't changed. So I'm like, my oldest says, Dad, what are you doing? What's the matter with you? Like, cause I'm on the couch, kind of contorted a little bit. But anyway, I got it to rotate back, and it was no big deal. But I kind of was hoping that the gestures would do a little more, like so like when I want to look at all the apps, you know, like something like on Plasma, you can do, you know, the 5 finger, is it 5 finger, 3 finger? What is it? I can't know. Yeah, four finger where you can like maybe a 3 finger too. I don't know. No, it's gotta be 4. Anyway, where you can actually have it look at all your applications by desktop, and it's a nice quick way to navigate around, and then so it didn't have some of those things I was kind of hoping for, and also it would have been nice if it didn't rotate my screen on me. But outside of that, I thought it was pretty fun to use. It'd have been great like on a Surface for sure. Like that was thinking to myself that'd be a fun toy for a Surface.
Do you remember the Ubuntu Wooby I think it was called Wooby installer, so you could actually install it on Windows and you could get rid of it if you wanted to. It looked like it was trying to do something like that.
Oh, really?
Now, yeah, and I think if they're going to have a by 86 64 distro, I think they should have a normal desktop out of the box and be able to change it to Android if you need to. Because that Android on the desktop was very frustrating, I must say. So I think that's something they should take on board, because most of the people would have to be putting it on, your standard laptops and that. I'd have to think. I don't know, maybe not tablets as much. So I think they should by default have a normal desktop. Yep, sorry.
Hey, here's my question. Can this easily be installed on a Chromebook?
So don't have an answer,
Probably
but
not.
it's supposed to be a Chromebook. Like it's supposed to work on all Chromebooks. So that would be handy for sure. And I think it'd be more handy if it was a touchscreen Chromebook than a non. I think that'd be more enjoyable.
Definitely.
Right.
But it was a little bit more difficult to get going, I will say, than other. I think it wants the UEFI boot, and I have to disable secure boot to make it work.
Yeah.
But that was it was a little more fiddly, and I'm not used to having to disable secure boot. It's not my normal bag anymore.
I didn't have the problems that Colin had with his setup. I installed it on my Dell Omniplex, and it went all right. I did the live version first, and then I did the install process afterwards.
Okay.
It's kind of old school installer, but it worked. It's very simple installer. You just basically create partitions if you need to, or use the existing ones, which is what I did, and just install it in partition. It installs
That
it.
was the N-Curses installer, I think it was, wasn't it? From memory?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's kind of also reminded me of PC Linux OS, So in that regard, but it was a very simple process, and after it installed, then it popped up. I didn't do anything else. But the thing that confused me about it was that it seemed like it popped up with a UI out of the box, Bliss OS, but then in one I did the desktop and thing that it had there, and installed another taskbar on top of the first taskbar.
Yes, that's correct. It did do that.
I wasn't sure what that was about, so
it was weird.
Yeah, you use either one you wanted to either.
Yeah, I didn't switch around I should play the desktops more, because there's like 3 options I think they had, and I just used the default one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one I thought I was using, but then it popped up another copy of it on top of the one when I selected desktop.
So I know years ago when I used to play a lot more with Android and customize my Android device, I would have multiple different desktops or whatever you want to call it in there, and but they would only do you'd only run one at a time. So I didn't experience that, but anyway, I wish I would have played more with that. That's an oopsie on my end. I thought the default was fine. Yeah, I think they.
Is there a way to take the default? I mean, it popped up that screen that said which one do you want to use, and I hadn't seen a way to back out of it, so I chose one.
Yeah, there's a way you can actually set that. It's in somewhere in the applications, like when you set like default applications, like what opens, like just this once or always, you can change it so that it always open or it just once instead of supposed to like, you can select which one you want from there, like every time you go back. But I'm trying to think of like, I didn't really have an instance where it brought that back
Well,
up.
I
But
did always, but it always put the 2 bars on top. So one bar and taskbar on top of the other taskbar.
interesting.
Strange. So, and then the other thing I would change if I had my druthers, but it didn't seem to be a way to set any kind of shortcut keys and things like that, So, for somebody like me who uses a lot of shortcut keys, that'd be a downside for it.
I bet you were awesome with WordPerfect for DOS. My guess. You're probably just like a fantastic.
Perfect. Yeah, I had it for a while, and it was that was way back in the 90s, though.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So there's some features that I did appreciate. One, when actually getting into it, I liked the fact that it was just as easy as setting up a new phone. So I could have transferred all my apps and everything else like that. It was really nice how they did all that. Did anybody else have any features that they thought that they really appreciated for those that actually got it going? Maybe not. Maybe I have cheese that stands alone. Go ahead, Ricky. I see that mouth opening up.
Essentially, I went the VM route with this exploration because I didn't have enough time to get it on hardware.
Okay.
I first tried it with GNOME boxes. I managed to get it installed, but upon initial boot, went to black screen and wasn't able to get to the environment.
Okay.
So I tried VirtualBox instead. Black screen, couldn't get to the installer. So I struck out 2 times.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit different. It does have the AB system for like managing the upgrades and everything else. So I think probably that setup maybe requires a little more finessing. Maybe I don't know. I just played with it enough that I could just navigate around it. I didn't really dig deep into it, but I could definitely see a use for that. Like, maybe bringing a for certain bits of hardware.
Yeah. The thing about Android, it's a little bit different than your average, run-of-the-mill distros, because the way Android is designed, it's designed, for more mobile devices. It's not typically desktop oriented as Chrome OS is.
Right. This is true. Yeah, it's more of a handheld operating system, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess we kind of discussed our difficulties that we had there, as far as some people not being able to get it installed or whatnot. But it's in my mind, it's kind of a new Linux experience. So maybe they'll get those little bumps worked out. At least I hope they do. So how do you think you might end up using if you were to use Bliss OS? How do you think you might employ it? You don't even have to have tried it to be able to throw it on this one, Jason.
For me, I think I would have used it on a tablet. It would fit well to be used on a tablet.
Yep, I agree. I think that'd be a great usage for it.
Or Chromebook.
Yep, I think Chromebook would be great too. I think a touchscreen Chromebook especially. Especially if it had like working gestures and such, that'd be the cat's pajamas right there. Any other thoughts on that? Like where you might end up using it? See, Jinda, he unmuted himself, so he's got something to say.
Oh yeah, I was thinking maybe like say to watch video, like to get Netflix or something working on it. Mm-hmm.
Like a media consumption device.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like a media device. That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
I don't know how well it would work, but it may, because those Fire Sticks and stuff, those things don't usually work very well anyway, and you can put some power behind them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, it might be like a home theater PC. It might not be a bad choice. You're right.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking of it, but I had such a hard time getting it to run.
Okay.
And you guys seem to have a hard time with it all as well. So
I mean, it was definitely was not as easy as other distributions of Linux for sure.
yeah, but it did have a lot of choices on how to use it, which someone did think of it.
How long has it been around?
You know, I didn't look into that.
Because that might be why it's still a little on the, hard to install
Yeah.
stage type
Hey,
thing. It might
is it-
not be as
it-
new.
Yeah, is it in the top 100 on DistroWatch?
I didn't check. Let's check out Distro Watch.
I mean, would it even be on DistroWatch?
I don't know. Why not? They have BSD on there.
It
I
should
think.
be listed. You would think it'd be somewhere on DistroWatch.
Let's
I
check
don't
this out.
see it.
Hmm.
Not in the top 100.
I don't see it listed at all.
Yeah, not in the top 468.
Yeah, I don't see it listed at all.
Now there are Bliss ROMs. There's a link to
Is
Bliss
that how big?
ROMs.
Hey,
What's that?
so they got what 468 distros listed on there?
I don't know. I just made up a number. I just pulled it out of my hat.
There used to be Remix OS, and this was a Android x86, and this was listed in DistroWatch, but I don't think Bliss OS is in DistroWatch.
Yeah, Remix isn't on there. There are 274 listed. So I misspoke apparently. Wait a minute. No, I think I'm incorrect. Yeah, 270. Yeah, that's how many they have listed. 274. And the one at the very bottom for the last 6 months or last 1 month is Commodore. I don't know what this is. I'm curious now. Oh, the Commodore OS version. Maybe we should do a distro exploration on that sometime.
I knew that was coming.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
It's the desktop is Mate, so those you might like that. It's based on Debian and MX Linux, so that's two winners right there. Yeah,
Sounds good.
sounds fantastic. We'll see what. I'm sure Eris will probably correct me if I'm off my rocker on that one. All right. So any other thoughts on Bliss OS?
I will say it's really good for what it does, being able to use it on a Chromebook and a tablet or Raspberry Pi. I think that's the free niche areas that it's good in. I think other than that, I mean, when it works, I mean, it's a beautiful Android environment. I mean, I did experience living in Bliss OS for a short period of time a number of years ago. Really good experience. Other than that, that's pretty much all I gotta say.
It's awesome. Hey Swift, thanks for joining. Obviously, you're someplace special right now. You got like probably some sort of a badge on and so forth.
I'll be getting off of work shortly,
Okay,
but it's kind of dead, so I can talk.
awesome. I don't suppose you tried Bliss OS at all.
Unfortunately, no. This was just a time when I was busy.
No, yeah, it happens. It's all good.
Yeah.
So apparently
What did I
it
miss so
it says
far?
2013.
Okay, so it's been around a while.
Oh, it has.
Yeah.
That's the first I heard of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think like Jinda said, if you could get this working on hardware, and since it has like Google support and everything, you could maybe get like all those applications for streaming on them working, which
Yeah.
are sometimes really hard to do on Linux to get good resolution. So you potentially could get better resolution on a device just as a streaming device, and that would be a good use case for this.
Yeah.
Okay, I take that back. It wasn't 2013. It looked like a date, but it wasn't a date. It was the version of Android 11, 12, and 13.
Oh, okay. Well, whichever. It's been around more than a year, perhaps.
Let's see.
That's good to know. Did I miss people's experiences with it thus far?
Yeah, it was mixed. So that some of us had like I had a good experience with it. Some people had a hard time getting it going, and so it was kind of a mixed bag. But these things happen.
Was that based on the hardware you using or just because the OS?
It's not as easy of a thing to get going. So it is Android, so it doesn't have a lot of the easy to use tools that we are accustomed to.
I think some of it was the installation, some of it was where you were installing it, like either virtual machine or desktop or live.
Yeah.
It was causing the issues. Like it was various different factors and various different issues.
Was anybody able to use it in Ventoy with Ventoy?
I didn't try it with Ventoy.
Okay.
Yeah, I had it.
I did use Ventoy, and it did boot.
Yeah,
I
me
did
too.
get it at work.
Oh, good.
Me too.
Good.
Yep.
I was hoping that.
Yeah, I think it's very neat. It was a neat experience. It's like running Android. It's like having an Android phone computer, I guess, Android computer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, supposedly you make calls on your phone on over this or something. Just crazy. But I was thinking because it had a call thing on there, I didn't try it. So my desktop it wouldn't work, I'm sure.
There's also a Bliss Labs that maintains this in other projects. So Bliss OS, Waydroid, and Bliss ROMs. This is interesting here, and I think this is actually something worth checking out.
Yeah, I was looking at that myself, trying to find maybe some sort of information on how long it's been around. But I didn't see anything.
I just want to say, and I'm not going to
Many
say.
years.
I just want to say, I love Eris. He just made me laugh really hard, but I'm not going to say why. So, you know what? This is actually probably a good, maybe talk about application Appetizer in a couple weeks. But Waydroid, it's a containerized approach. We've talked about this before, but I've never actually tried it. Full Android system on a regular, Linux system like Ubuntu and whatever else. So, yeah, check out that blisslabs.org. I'm sorry, somebody was talking and I totally cut you off. Was it you, Colin?
Oh, that was me. I was going to say many years ago, if I wanted to test Google Apps besides on my phone, there was an application that was available in Windows called BlueStacks. That was quite handy. Yeah, it used to run Google Apps.
Really?
It was a pretty handy little. Yeah, it's a handy program.
For a while, there's a thing I used on Chrome that would allow me to run Android apps. It was a little bit buggy, but it worked, and then it stopped working, so I stopped using it. I can't remember what that was called. So I'm surprised, Mr. Starbuck there can keep his computer running with a cat sitting on the keyboard.
She's actually on 2 keyboards.
Oh, okay.
Luckily, they have power buttons.
Well, so if you disappear, I know why.
This cat.
So what was the app you're talking about? Waydroid, is it?
Yep,
is that what you
Waydroid.
said? Waydroid.
What do they do?
And what's
Waydroid is
the
awesome.
purpose?
So that you can just it allows you to run Android apps within your Linux system, like Ubuntu.
Right.
Yeah, but that's Wayland, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I thought it was Wayland.
I don't use
Yeah, it's
Alex.
got the big W thing there.
Well, I mean, just because it has W in it doesn't mean it's Wayland. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, I thought it was a Wayland-based system.
I was thinking more like
That
it was
looks interesting, doesn't it?
like a Mandalorian thing. This is the Waydroid.
Yeah.
It looks pretty interesting anyway, I must say.
Yeah, I think that's something I want to play with. All right. Well, excellent. So I guess unless somebody has anything else, we'll probably move on to we'll talk about next week and then get to Ulfnick because he's got some things to talk about.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much for this distribution exploration. Thank you for the developers for developing it and other tools that we can try out later. And I hope for continued success. and whatever you end up doing. So thank you very much. All right, so next week we are doing a news flight night. So we have a news category on Telegram. So if you have any news things on there, like news stories, news things. I lost my mind. I got distracted again. If you have any news stories, submit them in there, or you can send them to Linux suggestions at linuxsaloon.com. That'll work out great. It is on the Linux Saloon calendar for next week. So yeah, see you next week for that, for the news flight night, and so forth. But also, if you have any suggestions whatsoever, whether the distribution suggestions, applications, poll ideas, or discussions, maybe some idea that's just burning a hole in your pocket. I don't know why an idea would be burning a hole in your pocket, but if it were, send them to suggestions at linuxsaloon.com. I would love to talk about it because this is what's fun. And all right, so move on to Ulfnick. You said there's a need for some documentation in Ubuntu.
Yeah. So this is regarding Matrix. So Ubuntu recently decided they're adopting Matrix. And for those who don't know what that is, it's a protocol that can do many things, but a primary one is it can serve as a chat platform similar to Discord. It's free and open source under GPL v3. So that's a major difference from Discord. So you can self-host it, and it's federated. So you can go off and do your own thing, but as long as you stick to the Matrix protocol, you can be in with everybody else and share chat rooms and such. So going forward, Ubuntu will be focusing exclusively on Matrix and IRC as their chat platforms of choice. And as far as bridging goes, it'll only be between those two. So you can chat on Matrix or IRC, and it'll be shared on both. And this isn't like the free junky bridges that you might be used to on Matrix. This is hosted by Ubuntu, so it's fast. So it's a very exciting time. I think it's a leadership move for Ubuntu to do this, and in part, it's because there's a few things missing around Matrix that they're going to try and fill in. The first one is good onboarding information. Matrix is incredibly easy to join and use, but there's sort of like that 10% layer, like the E2E stuff, or publishing rooms and so on, that takes a bit of getting used to as you're digging a bit more into it. So what Ubuntu's done is they've connected their discourse forum straight to their wiki. So you can just post in the wiki section, and it goes straight up to their website. And they're trying to make it as easy as possible for new people, people who are for their first time creating documentation, to be able to do it. So that's part of that. So if you want to be part of this and you want your name on the Ubuntu wiki, we'd be overjoyed if you'd like to check out the documentation and see if there's anything you'd like to pick up. I'll just post a link. Okay, there. And here we go. Yeah, so if you go there, that was recently put up. That's sort of like a list of things, we realize we're sort of lacking at the moment. It'd be good to have documentation for. And if you see anything there you like or have expertise in, or just want to play around and see if you can make a good guide for one of them, that would be awesome, very appreciated. If you don't have a forum account or sufficient privileges to be able to post, just PM somebody. You can PM me on the forum. You can @ me at Ulfnick in the Linux Saloon Telegram or on Matrix, and you could even just give me Markdown, and I can upload it to the wiki. I can also get you privileges to be able to edit the wiki itself. So the second one is ideally there needs to be next generation bots that are more suitable to highly accessible and federated platforms like Matrix. I think everybody's familiar with bots like Malbot and Molnar, and sort of the famous ones that are around. They're very good, and from sort of an ordinary platform perspective, I'd say they're more than good enough. They're pretty equal. When it comes to federation, I think you need a bit more, because the huge advantage of Matrix is how easy and accessible it is to join, and the downside is how easy and accessible it is to join, because you're dealing with, I guess you could say, a lot of people. That's probably the most polite way of putting it. So they're going to be investing time into seeing if they can figure out sort of a better option. And I think those two things will really fill in sort of the gaps that are missing, because Matrix is more of a newer protocol and Discord's been around longer. So yeah, I'm just super excited about it. So yeah, if you want to be part of that journey, doors open.
Well, fantastic. I already have an Ubuntu One account, so I just joined the Discord just because I wanted to. And I don't know if that have much to help with in the documentation for Ubuntu, but if something comes up, and I'll make it happen.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's good. I do documentation for OpenSUSE, and I do update it, keep it updated to the best of my ability. I need to do more though. I've been slacking off about the last 9 months or so. So I gotta do that.
Yeah, these are early days too. I mean, even if you just have like one suggestion, it'd just be good to hear it, and I can share it around. So it's really just trying to make this. One thing I'm interested in is how, if somebody does it, if anybody wants to be the guinea pig, how they get on. So it's like, okay, I want to post to the wiki. Where are the things I'm getting stuck on? And me knowing that, I can kind of ease that over or bring that up in a meeting and see if I can make that easier on people. So even if you don't end up posting to the wiki, just the information on trying to is useful. So yeah, any information helps. So, don't hesitate.
Fantastic. We'll hopefully get a lot of people to help out. And yes, Eris, I am a slacker. That's the perfect GIF right there. Perfect GIF. All right. I do like Discourse. I like Discourse a lot. I think it's a great forum. I think that's that is like the modern forum that everyone's using now. It's been around for what, 5, 7, 10 years? I don't know. But like Framework uses it. OpenSUSE now uses it, and I like that. I think I first experienced it on Snapcraft. I think that's the first time I used it was on Snapcraft, and then there was
I
some
have
others.
I have a nitpick.
What is it?
Discourse is if you're making a code block, and that's where I get sensitive on code blocks. I really need them to be good. You can't like add a tab. Like if you're tab indenting your code, if you press tab in Discord, Discourse, it's going to send you to the next web elements.
Okay. Yeah.
And I dug deep into this because I want to see, can I fix this? Is there a plugin? Is something planned? And the maker of Discourse is very adamant that that is how the web should work. And if you're writing a code block, tabs should send you to the next web element and not actually be a physical tab. So
it'd be nice if something like a control tab or a shift tab or something like that would be kind of nice to like bypass that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that would be good. Other than that, it's a lovely platform. The guy's done a brilliant job of doing it.
Yeah, it looks nice too.
All the contributors. Yeah.
I like the little timeline thing, so you can actually move around very quickly to where you want to go. That's really nice. And also, it seems like every Discourse forum I've been to, it works very nicely with the Dark Reader plugin. So that I also appreciate that as well.
Oh, there's another cool thing. If you go to any Discourse forum and if you end the URL in .xml or .json, it will give you a data dump of the information that's supposed to be on that page. I just thought that that was kind of cool. So you can arbitrarily, just use that for something else, maybe a bot or I think it'll give you RSS too.
Well, that's very nice. I had no idea. See, you learn something every day. Well, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Elfnick, and feel free to plug that, from time to time if you want to do that, or
Yeah, I'm just excited about it.
Yeah.
It's just really cool they're doing this. Yeah.
It is fantastic. All right, just a reminder, like today, I gotta can't go quite as long with Linux Saloon because I have some obligations early in the morning. So anyway, I want to get to Ben. Is he still here, or did he take off?
He's here.
I'm still here, dude.
Okay, because a lot of times you like to take off on me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a horrible lack of focus due to my Asperger's. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I would never call you that. So
No. I'm just my lack of focus tends to go all over the place sometimes.
that's right.
Yeah.
So there is I saw this hilarious video. It was about I can't remember. I've looked at my history, but
I
it was
remember
like
what it was.
ADHD basically is like a superpower, and it's
A superpower.
yeah. And I'm going to try and find that and share that with everybody. If Jenna doesn't find it for me, find it first.
Doesn't find it first.
Yeah. But basically it goes. It's like this husband and wife. They do like different songs and very very funny things on YouTube. And I don't know if they're still doing it or not. I see it every once in a while it pops up. And anyway, so they did a ADHD song. It was pretty great. I'm gonna find it. So anyway, you have an update. Now we haven't seen you all year.
Oh, good Lord.
And it's been a little while since you've been on. I go, life gets in the way. You said you're going to school and everything else.
Life gets crazy, yeah.
So I haven't heard anything about Storm OS in a while, and so you actually have an update for Storm OS.
A big one.
A big update.
A big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is going to blow the show's mind, and maybe even the audience, but Ricky and I have been talking over the past few weeks, and this is actually going to be kind of a crazy story. I'll try and keep it brief because I know you got to go soon. But
no, we're fine. We got 25 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. Let me just pitch this in a way that I think
you don't have 25 minutes. I have 25 minutes.
Yeah. Well, if we have to go into overtime. Anyway, basically, we have decided, after numerous testing, that we were originally going to try and go Debian, but that backfired like nobody's business. And then we decided to retain the Arch base, but basing it from Arco due to stability reasons, whatever. And then we are moving from XFCE as our primary desktop to KDE. And Nate's probably looking at me like, "What, are you crazy?" But
no, you're not crazy at all. You're doing the right thing.
Right, and we have decided that, and there's a couple of reasons that I'll bring Ricky in on this for, but the main reason being is I know there's like a boatload of Arch distro respin whatever things out there, and we've decided that we want to make this a little bit more unique and a heck of a lot less bland and generic and all this and that. And so, here's the thing. XFCE is, in my honest opinion, it is easy to customize if you know what the heck you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's actually why I like XFCE.
Yeah, XFCE is a good desktop, but in my opinion, I spoke to TLT's host, the Linux Tube's host Alex about this, and every time he's looked at Storm OS, he has felt that it could be more. And he also feels that there's a crap ton of bloat in that thing. And I have to admit, he's right. There's a lot of stuff in there that is unfortunately just super unnecessary, like, the AUR apps that we build. They're so unnecessary. And, except for calamaris and that sort of thing. And realistically, I have decided that we are still going to maintain those apps, but they're not going to be included by default, not even in calamaris. So, if people want that stuff, that's on them. So, yeah, we're going to be switching desktops. We're going to be trimming down the packages list, everything. So, we're going to make it more minimal, and we're going to make this release really a kicker. And, I don't know how soon we're going to have this new ISO out, but we haven't had a release in almost 2 months. So, it's and our last release had a lot of bugs and a lot of this and a lot of problems, and we're still working on migrating from the customized root.fs script, which is well over 3 years old, and that's an old build system, and we're trying to migrate to the new way, and we're still working on that. But at this point, we do need to. We are going to go with KDE, like I said, and see where it goes from there.
Now, big fan of KDE. Actually, XFCE is probably my number 2 go-to desktop. Really love
Your
XFCE.
number 2, huh?
Yep. Yeah, it is. I like it. And then after that, it's, it fluctuates a little bit. Probably.
I hear you. Well,
the NSCDE is probably the next one after that. So that's.
So yeah, we've decided to go with Nate's favorite, Plasma.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think what's
so I've decided that it's time to it's time for us to figure out how we're going to do KDE, because we're still using the stock Arco theme right now, and we've decided that it's best to do that. So that's kind of where.
So Ricky has something to say, Ben, about this.
Go ahead, Ricky.
There we go. I had to get my microphone on.
Go ahead, Ricky.
Okay, so
lay it on me, dude.
So basically, like Ben said, we basically had to go back to the drawing board. I mean, we were originally going Debian, but we decided to base ourselves off of Arco Linux instead, because that's more towards mainline Arch than anything else. Yeah. Plus, with going KDE Plasma, it's gonna basically appeal, to those Windows users that are wanting to try out an Arch-based distribution by any chance. That'll cater to them, because with how KDE Plasma looks, it'll cater to that demographic. We're going to shorten down the packages to where basically we only have the essentials and nothing else. If anybody wants AUR, you'll have to get it yourselves.
Yeah.
But other than that, KDE Plasma is basically going to be the new environment for the upcoming StormOS release. Now, about KDE Plasma 6, though, we will not be doing 6 right out of the gate. We will be doing Plasma 5.27.
Right. We're going to be on that for a little while until all the kinks get worked out and all the etc. Because, if we ship KDE 6.0, right when it drops, like Ricky said, there's going to be a lot of concerns with that. And it's not a good, it's not a good idea. I mean, and it's
that's fair enough. 527 is a good release anyway.
Yeah, exactly, Colin.
It's got everything you need in it, and it works pretty well, except for the fact that mine just crashed. I don't know what that was about, but it might have been Zoom.
It might have been. It could be countless things, It could be like,
correct me if I'm wrong, but after doing a few experiments on a low spec laptop, I think
Yes.
KDE has become probably one of the most efficient desktops around at the moment.
Yeah, I would agree with
even
you
above
on that, Colin.
even above XFCE, I'd have to think.
Yeah, because I have to say, when I last used XFCE on like Storm OS, for example, or Arch in general, or heck, any Linux flavor, it was, in my experience, heavier than KDE, even I want to say KDE 4 for that example. Because we all know that KDE 4 was a heavy desktop, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was heavy to an extent, but the last time I played around with KDE4 was, the last time
Yes.
was the last time I played around KDE4 was back in 2018, and to me it was lightweight, but a little
Not to the
heavy, but
best of
not
its
too
ability.
heavy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
But the last time I tried XFCE, I did notice with 4.18, for some unknown reason, it's gotten a bit heavier than the last time I looked at it. So
Yeah, and that's one of the primary reasons that we're going towards KDE is the fact that,
it's gotten debloated.
yes, it has. And yeah, that's kind of why I will probably have us go to KDE at this point, is because it's lighter and really it's not that hard to customize.
No. As long as you only do what you need to do and not spend so much time in the settings, because you can get lost in those settings very easily.
Right, and I want to get this presentable to a degree, and I don't know how many betas we're gonna have of this or whatever, but it's probably gonna be quite a few because I'm not the most knowledgeable with KDE, and this is gonna be a sandbox with lots of digging around and all that kind of thing. So,
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you from my experience. I've been doing some bash scripts to write all the things that I need in my distro. So the script actually takes things from the running system and also the things that I want, puts it in the scale folder or wherever it goes in the template, and then I build my ISO. I did that with Cinnamon, and I've just done that with KDE. And believe me, G2K is so much easier to move configs over, but KDE has things all over the place from my experience. So
yeah,
that,
for example, with my buddy Matthew Moore's Titan Linux, I don't know if you remember that, Colin, but
yeah,
oh
I do,
Lord,
yeah.
talk about configs from who knows what.
Yeah, so that's the only issue. Once you get on top of it and you know it and familiar, you're probably okay. I'm still not overly familiar, but I've worked out what I needed.
Yeah.
But I've got a question for you guys. Are you saying you're taking applications? I can't remember how much apps you had in there. So you're taking applications out and removing the options of just clicking on buttons to install things?
No. What we're saying is there's a lot of, if you look at our GitHub for the repo we have, it's a crap ton of programs, and a lot of it, Ricky, I don't even think we need over half that stuff.
Last time me and you looked at that repo, there was a significant amount of stuff that we can remove,
we have to go through it, look through what's needed and what's not, and I mean,
you're running your own repository then, is that what you're saying? You're running your own repository?
GitHub, it's a GitHub thing, and
if you want to debloat the system, why don't you just have like a box that people can open up, call it your own system, or just have buttons to install from the Arch repository.
Well, what I've been thinking of doing for the longest time, Colin, is our StormOS tool is good, the config tool, but the main thing it's lacking, like you're saying, is something similar to PAMAC where it pulls in stuff like that,
I mean, I don't.
Well, have an option to install like Yay or Trizon or whatever, and call it your StormOS apps, or what people call you know, what's Storm OS tools or something like that, and then Storm OS apps, so you can just click it and install it from the repo, and then you don't have to worry about your repo, just because you want to be close to Arch, right? So just use the power of Arch for people to be able to click what, you know, have your dedicated apps, or, you know, most used apps or something like that. I don't know. I just thought I'd throw some ideas at you guys.
That's a very good idea. Implementing a toggle system, to, you know, to allow the user after the install to decide whether they want Yay, Paru, Trizen, whatever. That's a good idea.
I think for me, like as a, you know, a pretty heavy desktop Linux user, it would be nice if there was some like you know, like maybe some different stages of apps. You know, like me, I really want to have you know, like VLC so I can watch movies and whatever else, or watch, you know, video, like local videos and whatnot. Although I don't use it as much as I used to. And then, you know, just some other like
well, VLC
I use
is
Office
like the most
apps.
common thing we would put in there and whatnot. And we want to we're definitely going to include that, and we're definitely going to keep to the Calamares basis, because, you know, having our own installer isn't going to happen right away. So, you know, and but yeah, Ricky and I will go through the list of packages we usually use, and we're probably just going to not maintain the repo anymore and do what Colin was suggesting and put in a custom tool that allows people to download like Yay and all those sorts of things. And we might actually ask his collaboration on that, if you don't mind, Colin.
Yeah, well, I've been doing YAD scripts, so that's the only way I know how to do that.
How to do certain things,
I don't know how to build GTK apps from scratch.
No, we're not going to do it in GTK.
Yeah. All right. No, you Qt, so yeah. So I don't know how to construct all that stuff. So I just use YAD scripts, and that's what I put.
Well, that's
in
what
my
Seeker
build.
was doing with a lot of his stuff that he did for us, was, you know, those sorts of things. But I mean, if it's written in YAD, I don't care as long as it works. So yeah,
this is kind of random. But,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, this is kind of random, but someone made a project where you could control OpenGL in real time with Bash.
Really?
Through a named pipe. Yeah, I'll go grab the link and post it. It's really fun if you want to check it out. But yeah, you can literally write a 3D video game in Bash and have it be rendered in OpenGPL.
Cool.
Wow.
Or OpenGL, sorry. Yeah.
OpenGL, yeah, cool. But yeah,
got
Colin,
Linux on the brain.
why don't we do this, Colin? Do you have Discord?
No. Oh, I think I do, but I haven't used it for a long time.
Used it in a while. Yeah. Well, we do have a StormOS Discord channel, and I've been meaning to talk to you about adding you to that, because if you help us out, we'd love to.
I've got my YAD script on Google Drive, so if you want to download it and manipulate it in any way you want,
we'll look into that. Yeah, and I'll hit you up on Telegram after the show. But that's sort of our update. On this one, we're going KDE, and we're gonna bring a lot of nice things to the table for
Excellent.
people.
That'll be fun.
At least for one other thing that I did want to suggest, Ben.
Yes, Ricky.
Besides VLC in there, there's one particular package that I know everybody would love if we added it in, and I think it would be really helpful. I think we should also add OBS Studio into it too.
That is a valid idea, Ricky. Hey, Ricky, are you available after the show to do some of this?
I can. Yeah, I'm available.
Okay. All right, we'll do that. But so yeah, Nate, that's just something we wanted to bring up, and we'll let you guys know once we have something to look at. So.
Ben, if you want to hit me up on Telegram, I prefer to use that than Discord. I just can't stand using Discord.
Oh, I know. Well,
I hate the interface. Sorry. I'm not keen on the interface.
Fine, man. Well, tell you what, Ricky and I will hit you up on Telegram after the show. So,
all right.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I wish you the utmost success. Excuse me. I
Yeah.
wish you the utmost success and enjoyment in it, because I think, Linux should be
Yeah.
fun. I don't think it should be
Yeah,
painful.
it is
It should be
always
fun.
fun. And, that's why we keep
It
coming
should
back
be.
every week, is because we like hanging with you guys and having fun.
Oh, well,
Yep.
No worries.
Blush.
And, I also do plan to hopefully be back full time as we go along. So
Fantastic.
now that being said, I
Uh-oh.
do have school, and I'm going for a security cert right now to get to my tech support cert. So I don't know how often I'll be here, but I'll be here when I can make it. So yeah. But either way, I hope you have a good trip, and I might even stick around this week for the post show and whatnot.
Ooh. Well, fantastic.
All right.
All right. Well, so I apologize to all of those in the, all three of you. Not actually more than that. In the
Oh God, all of us.
all of you in the YouTube, but I do have to cut it short today. I got a obligations tomorrow, so I gotta be up real early. And with that, we're gonna do last call. Number one, I appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you so much. It's great to have you on the panel. I love being able to talk to somebody about technology, because most of the people in my IRL life look at me like I got a lobster growing out of my forehead, and so it's nice to have you people to talk to. So anyway, so just as part of last call, Colin, you said you didn't get any videos done this week, but do you have anything on the horizon?
Oh, I've got plenty of things I want to do. It's just time. That's time. And you might even find it hard to catch up with me today, Ben. I've got a few things to do, but I will respond when I can. But
No worries.
I just have time. Yeah, time restraints at the moment. We've got to move out of this place within, 7 weeks, I think it is, and I've got to pack up stuff and whatever.
Again.
So that's again, yeah, and I've got to put stuff in storage and maybe go live with family or something. So I'm back to that again. So hopefully not for too long, because we just got to wait for our house to be ready. So
how long ago did you move in this place?
It's been 10 months.
10 months. Okay.
Just over 10 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a 12 months deal, and they wanted to boost the price up to an enormous amount because, they think people are desperate these days. So I wasn't willing to pay that much. And since the house is close to being ready, storage was a better option.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Well, just be careful, like when you put stuff in storage. I know, I don't know how your storage units are, if they're like hermetically sealed or if they're just like a shed. But I know everything in there. Yeah, but I mean, can things crawl underneath there? You're gonna have a koala bear jump down and try and kill you or whatever. I don't know what goes on there in Australia.
Look,
got a
if
wallaby.
a koala bear jumps in there, I'll stick him in a cage and take him home.
Except for the vampire ones, right? They jump out of trees.
Drop bears.
Drop bears. I don't know if that's real or not, but I'm just going to pretend like it is. So anyway, thank you very much for being here, Colin. I hope that your move goes smoothly.
Thanks.
Ricky,
Thanks.
I really appreciate you being here. I know I've seen a lot of videos and channel updates happening on your end of the YouTube deal. So
Yep. I'm pretty much putting out what I can, and also I'm gonna be resuming content on my Odyssey gaming channel coming up this upcoming Saturday and Sunday.
You want to post a link?
Sure. I will post let me get that link for you. Besides the gaming channel on Odyssey, normal content for YouTube will be resuming Tuesdays and Thursdays. I also have it on my schedule to do a new edition of the Linux Coffee House coming up this upcoming Saturday.
fantastic.
And that is my weekly news show, if you didn't know.
Okay. Excellent. So what kind of coffee do you drink? Are you more of a light roast, dark roast, somewhere in the middle?
Many different. I like coffee regardless.
Yeah. So
I'm more a soda guy, Nate.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah. I don't like sugar, but also I don't like Starbucks coffee. No offense, Jason. I apologize if that offends you, but I don't like. I feel
I
like
don't like Starbucks coffee either.
I feel like that. Unless if Starbucks wants to sponsor us, So like when I drink Starbucks coffee, I feel like I'm dragging my tongue across an ashtray at 2:00 in the morning in a bar, and every time. So I just don't like that. It's too burnt for me.
Let me get that link for. Let me get the link for the gaming channel for you all.
Absolutely. Just throw it in the Zoom thingy, and then we can forward it on there. Ulfnick, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here and sharing some exciting news going on in the Ubuntu world. Yeah, well, it's good to be missed.
I really miss coming on. Time has just been incredibly intense. I'm working out details in terms of moving. Career's moving along. I'm sort of changing how I go about spending my time in regards to what I'm focusing on, specifically getting into Go and Python and kind of leaving behind the Node.js stuff more so that I've done in the past, and getting deeper into system administration. And it's just, things are moving. It's an exciting time, but it's a time with not a lot of time, I guess.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of funny how that works.
Yeah.
All that, yeah. Well, thank you
I'll
very
get time
much.
back later.
Well, yeah, hopefully. So thank you very much for being here. I hope to see you again next week, and also please share updates on how it's going and with the discourse forum on Ubuntu. I really, it's a great community of people over there in the Ubuntu world.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Jinda, appreciate you being here and getting the conversation kicked off with some great Raspberry Pi talk. When you're not muted.
Oh, I was muted?
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. Well, thanks for letting me hang around.
Well, it's enjoyable for me. You're always quick there in the chat, so because I'm a little slow. So thanks again for being here. Appreciate your contributions. Ben, glad you could finally make it again. I know you're a busy man with school and Storm OS and whatever else you got going on in your world.
It's been a cluster F, man. I gotta tell you, things have been slammed all over the place, but I finally got a chance to come on and talk about what's been going on and that sort of thing. And I'll hope to be back next week. I can't make any promises, but on February 23rd, I think it is, we'll have my family is having some relatives come in, so I don't know for how many days, but if it's on the weekend, I may not be able to make that week, but we'll see. Anyway, I wish you a good trip tomorrow, and we'll hope to. Are you going to be here for next week?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I will.
Not rain nor
see you
sleet
on the
nor
weekend.
snow nor sleet.
Yeah.
Or hail.
We'll keep
or
you
sleet.
down.
Just flights
All right.
in the morning.
All right. Well, I will see you back again next week, I guess.
Excellent. Well, thanks again for being here and giving us an update. Jason.
No worries. That was fun.
So glad you could hang out another week. It took me a few years of stalking you, or a year stalking you, for you to come back. But nice to have you back.
It's good to be back. Life will find a way, and I eventually was able to get back over here. I've been busy with doing health things. In other communities like the retro Mac community, I've been doing a lot of stuff in there where you and I actually reconnected.
Yeah.
In that community.
I'm not really sure
so
how I got invited to that in the first place. But Dave invited me,
idea.
and then I started joining, and
Yeah,
I don't
and
even use a Mac. I don't have a Mac. Well, I have a broken Mac, but that's all I got.
Well, I say, you can reach out to that community and they can fix it for you.
No, I'm just gonna get it.
Yep. And then other than that, just living life. And I figured, another thing that took up a lot of my time, which I wasn't around on Saturdays a lot, was the good old Magic the Gathering.
Oh yeah.
So I would go play live, actual at a game store.
Yeah.
With real people instead of over the, doing the online version.
Is it one of those like they sell games and they have Magic, or is it just Magic?
Oh, they do. Well, there's Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon.
I'm like video games, like old video games.
Oh, no video games. But it's all like either board games, collectible card games, or Warhammer.
Okay.
When you paint the little figures and do whatever they do. And occasionally D&D. Sometimes they'll have some people that go up there and do their D&D campaigns or whatever it's called, and do that kind of stuff. But other than that, just living life. hanging out with cats.
Yep. And there's a place called Tops Trade Center, and they have games from all eras. I don't know if they still have Atari, but they did at one time. It's actually, we got a lot of cartridges there years ago. But they have like a retail side where they also sell like different card games like Magic, and I think they sell Pokemon stuff too. I don't know. I know they sell Magic. Other side, they have like an arcade and an area where people can play, like tabletop board games and whatnot. So it's a really cool place, and I like that. It's fun to go there. Periodically, I go there and like pick up like a game for an old system or older system. They don't have old systems there anymore. I think anything that's made in this millennia to me is not old. So there you go. Eris, thanks so much for everything you do. Keeping me on track.
You.
Making me laugh.
Thank you, Nate.
Yep. Glad you could be here and have chat it up with us. Rick, nice to see your face again. And seems like it's been a while.
Yeah, a little while.
Yeah. Life's been busy.
Yeah.
Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, it's been pretty busy lately. But I'm getting out a video pretty soon, I think. Just have to edit it and spit it out.
Well, make sure you share the video on the Linux Saloon Telegram group at least. Yeah. You can do it in Discord too if you want. I'm not really good about checking Discord. But
yeah.
Anyway.
I have an account on Discord, but I really don't use it much.
I know what my problem is. I should like Discord, but it's just...
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Dr. Linux, all the way from sunny Jamaica, I think you said you were from. How's the weather there? Warm? Pleasant?
Yeah. Still warm.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for being here. I know White Chocolate, he stepped out early, but I was going to make sure you thank him if you talk to him for being here as well. So, anyway.
Sure.
Well, I think Steve, he's in the chat, but he didn't join us today. But he's got a live show Sunday mornings, 8:15 a.m. Central. So if you are not, up in the air someplace, make sure to check that out. He does a really good time just hanging out with Steve, the least punchable face on all of the internet, every Sunday morning, or almost every Sunday morning. One of my favorite podcasts out there, Linux User Space, or lus.sh, so linuxuserspace.show. They, I don't know if they're on their year-end break. I didn't check, but make sure you check out that podcast. It's one of my faves. I like to keep track of it. It's a great source of all kinds of historical and very accurate, well-sourced information on various open source projects. I think their browser updates are also very valuable. It used to be the Firefox update, but now it's where's the Mozilla update? Can't remember now. Anyway, they do browser updates. I think that's pretty great. I'm on a podcast. What's that?
I was going to mention the next episode is the history of KDE.
Ooh, this will be a good one. It's going to take forever. Is it a two-parter? It should be. I'm on a podcast called Linux Out Loud. Matt, Wendy, and I, we talked about our new hardware adventures, and so check that out. I got some new hardware at work also, which is not part of the show. I may talk about it another time when when I've really kind of worked it out. I'll probably do an article on that or something like that. On a website that I have called cubicalnate.com, I write articles when I figure something out. I haven't figured anything out lately. I was working on getting Linux to run on a Commodore 64. I'm having a hard time with it, and I think I need to do some more research. But anyway, why would you want to do that? There's not really a good reason, but it's Linux, so that's why I do these things. So Linux Saloon is part of the Tux Digital Network. Check out more great shows at tuxdigital.com. I want to thank you all for your support, however you do it, being a part of the conversation in both the Zoom meeting here and on the YouTube stream, as well as for everyone watching the show after the fact. I want to thank everyone involved in making the Linux and open source tools possible for us to not only have this conversation, but also to have fun and enjoy our technology. Linux truly puts personal back into personal computers. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure to tip your developers, and please remember to Linux responsibly. Until next time. See yous.
Bye.
Yes.
Wow, that was
Ooh, I gotta do
a
the thanks for
crazy
watching.
but fun show.